If you're an online coach and looking to scale your business, today we're going to discuss exactly how to fix your content to maximize views, maximize leads, maximize your ability to scale your business to get freedom. The first thing we're going to talk about are 3 R's: relevance, results, and relatability. What does that mean to you, Tyson?
Relevance is you want to speak to the conversation in people's minds, and you want to say things better and articulate things better than they can themselves. Because if you can explain their whole current scenario better than they can themselves, that's going to get initial buy-in. And you're speaking to the market you want to sell to. So let's say you're selling to moms, so using words like shred isn't going to work. You're using things
Get jacked.
right, get jacked as the Fit Mom program, like that's different compared to shred, for example, right? So speaking with the keywords is going to be the biggest thing. One of the best ways you can do that is if you've got sales calls, client check-ins, conversations, DMs, get a big bullet bank of those, put into ChatGPT, recognize the keywords. So if it's hormones, metabolism, things like energy, that's where you can actually leverage that. But almost getting the keywords and speaking those keywords so you have relevancy and you say things how they were saying themselves, and if not, even better.
The thing I'd actually add into relevance as well, which most people miss, is seasonality.
Yes.
So the relevance, we film this now as the 17th of June, is talk about things that are relevant to what's going on right now in terms of the calendar. The second thing is even in terms of relevance of what's going on in the entire world. So obviously we had COVID a while ago, maybe you have relevance in terms of some other religious holidays, whatever the thing might be, right? And I think that's huge. And what you can also then do is when you have relevance of maybe people getting in shape over Christmas or Eid or Ramadan or whatever, you can push results into that maybe it's going to be relatable to your specific audience. So you kind of tie all 3 into one.
I think also, very good point you mentioned there as well is relevancy of the market. But something I see a lot of people do is, let's say you're not a weight loss coach. They don't even speak about summer. They're like, my clients don't care about summer. They do. If it's summer, speak about summer. Future focus them. You'll obviously have a different twist, but almost if you're not selling fat loss, you should still be speaking about future focusing them towards summer. So let's say it's imagine 8 weeks from now, you're at the family barbecue, you're feeling good, and you're around some people, you're around your friends, you've done the work you wanted to do, you're looking, feel great, your energy's high, and you're there because you put the work in now, so you future focus them. You can do that positively, you can do it negatively. Imagine you're there, everything is not going well, everything is what's going on the outside, but for some reason that dress doesn't feel well. You can almost future focus into how it would feel like 8 weeks from now, during summer occasions, during holidays, relative to your niche. So you may not speak about taking your top off and being at booth with your friends, but almost it's being present, being about dinners out, cocktail parties, whatever it is, what people do nowadays, probably wouldn't know. But almost using that relevancy to speak to the conversation of the mind for the summer, make sure you mention summer. Even if it's not quote unquote in your niche, that's the thing you want to always make sure you're actually speaking to.
I bet it's going to make it more specific. And the more specific you are, and the more you apply a sniper rifle focus with your messaging, the harder it will hit. Yeah. And it's not about how many times you hit someone, it's about how hard you can hit them. Like a Mike Tyson analogy, you just need to hit them really fucking hard once, and then you knock them out where they bite.
Yeah.
And this is kind of how people need to try to think. And it's also your job is also to try and wake people up. So you can wake them up in terms of different ways with the hook, the way you retain them through the content, and also the reward framework on the back end. And with hook specifically, what I think is really powerful is also a negative hook. So I'm a very big fan in terms of using negative psychology to get people to buy or to trigger people. So if you watch, for example, the news, I was in a gym in the Four Seasons Hotel here the other day, and I don't watch the news, and it was literally BBC News was war, poverty, bullshit, everything's just negative because they're pulling you in because they know it's triggering. Whereas people don't want to talk the positive thing, how to get 6-pack abs, or how not to look like a piece of shit on the beach, so your kids are embarrassed at you.
Yeah.
The negative one's going to trigger you more if you are that person.
A casual hook such as how to lose weight, not going to get people. Whereby if it's you will struggle for the rest of your life if you don't do this with your weight loss, that's a bit more curiosity driven. I think it's almost you want people to watch longer and consume more. If you can't get people to watch longer than 7 seconds, then you'll never retain their attention.
Can I tell you a story to go with that?
Go on.
So the more you can emotionally trigger someone with a piece of content or what you say, the more they're going to buy. So I remember sitting on a business class flight. I might have been coming to Dubai, to be fair, a couple of years ago. And the guy asked what I did, and he was like, I really struggle with my health and fitness. The guy was a yacht broker, so builds and sells super yachts, because obviously he has money, right? And I knew he had kids. And he's like, what's the one thing you can say to me that will make me take this seriously? Because he was overweight. I was like, would you like to be alive for your daughter's wedding? And he's like, fuck. And
right away.
That's the kind of messaging you need to really be putting people, but also even when you come to buying conversations, having those direct conversations. because you're only doing it for the own good. And it's the same thing when I speak to people who want to build a business. Like, I can be quite direct with people because it's like, dude, I'm frustrated for you because I know the worst thing you can have in life is regret. If you're 30 now or 35 and you wait 5 years and you're 40, you're going to miss the window. And that's the reality that people don't understand, that they need to kind of deal with these things quickly. But it's the same thing that you need to be pushing for a narrative with urgency in terms of from a fitness coaching point of view. Like, this problem's only getting worse as you deal with it now.
That's the highest level of urgency, because there's like the internal and external urgency. There's obviously the parts where you can say price is going up and got this many spaces. People know that's not real. But if you can kind of make an element of urgency, is that they've struggled for a while, this isn't getting better, it's getting worse, I'm sure I'd improve for that. That's the element of urgency that's more internal from them. So 1000% with that.
As of 2025 right now, I scroll through Instagram, TikTok, well, I don't really scroll, but when I actually go onto these platforms and I look and I analyze people's content, it's the same shit, different person. And the reality with that is everyone's trying to, it's like the blind leading the blind a lot of the time. Completely. Whereas you need to be really unique and in a different terms of the way you put yourself out there. And I'll give you a good example of this. There's actually a guy called Rob the Bank on YouTube, and he does Instagram stuff. Super different in terms of style stuff. Like, very different in terms of his messaging. He's really out there. He's not a fitness coach. But I just thought it was very interesting. His content really pulled me in because it was very different in terms of the style of it. And I think that's what people need to understand is you want to try and have your own unique flavor. And I think, as we spoke about in one of the other episodes, is pay attention to the art. Like, how can I make this look sick? How can I make this cool? How can I make this so different? No one has ever done this before.
It's like people want to be seeing new things because they need to be entertained. And if you can grab their attention at the start. Because, like, is it Gary Vee that says it? Is your, like, day trading attention? Like, people either pay attention to the next thing or your thing. And, like, you kind of need to play the game to actually get their attention first. And once you get their attention, you can do whatever you want with it.
If you're not relevant, you're irrelevant. And I think that's where people need to think that, how can I stay top of mind for people? So we're going to talk about this in one of the other episodes about how to scale with paid ads. But when you actually understand how to create a marketing machine using content, but then also supercharging it with paid ads, like, anyone clicks on my stuff, you're probably listening and watching this podcast right now, you've seen one of my ads today. Like, I'm on people all the time. So I'm front of mind. And the person who's front of mind all the time, I'm like, well, fuck, I'll see what this Charlie guy's thing's about. Like, that's how the game works. It's omnipresence.
1000%. Be everywhere, every time. Stories, ads, content, in the DMs, right?
From a content angles perspective, I think one of the problems most coaches have is they're two-dimensional. They try and do the same thing over and over and over again. And yes, you need to do that in some respects and find the niche, the narrative that works, but you also want to try and test different things. Because you can't all just be like sales, pain. You need to have like variety in terms of your content, because some things are going to be in your funnel. There are going to be some things that are going to be trying to go viral to pull people in. There's things that are going to try and warm people up. And there's going to be bottom funnel, which is very direct conversion. And if I was going to make direct conversion content, I'd be very direct and probably very aggressive towards the pain point and adding urgency. And I think that's one of the things most people don't think like that from a content perspective.
Yeah. I think also, like, kind of like what you said there is, like, you've got different tones you want to have at different levels of marketing. So, like, one of the best questions you can ask is, like, why am I posting this content? Is that not just posting for the sake of posting? Like, you can put a reel out about chest press and how you should do hammer curls rather than this certain number of curls. And, like, almost you want to make sure you're actually putting content out, not just put content out, but to get an outcome, right? Whether it's top funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel, what's the reason behind it? Because you can post with AI, you can literally get content scripts and just put pictures behind it, but it's like, what problem is this really solving? And with AI, I think if you kind of get to the place where you don't use AI often, which is going off tangent, and you just copy and paste from AI, people can see that. Like, I can see it. You see the double dashes, you see little ways to say it. It's like, you don't speak like that, and then you're almost like, well, I know that's not you, it's AI. You can tell right away, right? And it's kind of like just doing the job, or just taking the box rather than actually doing it.
And if you're going to do something, you should do it well. And obviously, your mastercraft is helping obviously clients on FitPro launch systems from the content side of things. What would you say from a beginner coach standpoint, the key things they need to focus on?
So I kind of like to break it down into 3 T's: topic, template, tonality. So what topics are going to be relevant to your clients and your people that you've already sold to, or your clients that you're fulfilling? Because if you can make your content speak to your current clients, you get lookalikes. So what I would do is kind of do a big analysis, look at the topics that resonate. If you get 15 topics, all you need to do is say there's 15 different, right? So kind of create like a big 15 bullet bank or your 15 best ideas and you utilize it. So that's topic, template, whether it's like talking head reels, gym reels, nutrition reels, test all of them. Like you don't know until you test it. You may kind of like spend so much time doing one thing when you actually realize this could have just completely crushed. So I think almost test new ideas every single week. Like film often, film regularly, every week, every Friday or something, but do like different styles of templates, whether it's short, like B-roll, something that's gonna go viral, talking to the camera, carousels, emotional selling, try as much different styles. And then kind of like tonality is like choose the one you want to go for. You're going to be the person that's going to be the most controversial and the most direct, or you're a bit more empathy driven because that's better for your niche. So telling in your topic, template, tonality is the best thing. And then from that overall, looking at if you're going to do content, kind of like you said, hook, retain, reward, that's always going to follow every formula. So whether it's static images, B-roll, talk to the camera, is always going to follow the hook, which is grabbing the attention, which is creating curiosity to keep watching. Retention meaning you don't give the solution right away, so people have to keep watching until they've had enough, then you give it. And the actual payoff needs to be highly implementable tactic. So actually they can go away and do it tomorrow, in a sense. So if you can follow that, you'll be in a very good place. And the best thing is working yourself so you kind of almost like can demonstrate the authority. Because what? If you have a good script, 5% of communication is words, and like 33% is body language, and the rest is everything like expression, who's saying it. So let's say you get a exact reel from Hermosi, but you say it, it's not the same thing if it's the same script, right? So actually working yourself to make sure you're the person that actually people want to see and you consistently keep delivering.
And that's where people don't understand that speaking is an art form.
Yeah.
And people worry about trying to learn 5 languages. Like, dude, you can't even speak one yet. So learn to communicate very well in your mother tongue and crush with that. Yes. And then when it comes from a content perspective, understand what's the type of tonality you need to use when you're speaking that's going to get leads to really kind of convert.
Yeah, like if you're direct and you're calling people out, don't be empathetic one day and then direct one day. Keep a consistent tone is probably the biggest thing. Because people almost don't know what that is. They're not sure whether they want to make noise in the marketplace or deliver solutions. So let's say someone like John Jewett, very solution driven, very much like, you can say empathy, but it's almost like he's giving solution all the time. But brand voice consistent is quite direct too as well. But you can see it's consistent every time. So let's say you're someone like David Goggins, direct all the time. You don't see him being empathetic. So he kind of stands out because you can be in a spot where you're consistent. People trust the person that's most consistent in life.
What would you say is the biggest mistake coaches make with their content?
I think there's probably a lot you can do.
I'll give you the biggest one is, and hands up, I've done this in the past because I'm good with ideas, and like with a YouTube video, I'd count an idea yesterday, we just filmed it, was no real prep, and it's actually done really well, but is winging it. And
yeah,
like, I would even say from a sporting analogy, people who are really talented tend to not work and train that hard, and they kind of wing it, which is why they don't max their potential. So if you're naturally good on camera, you're naturally good with ideas, spend some time being really intentional about how can I take this A idea to be A++, so it fucking crushes. Because the difference between good and exceptional is like 1,000% in terms of the potential upside.
I think that actually gave me the answer to mine is like scripting it and actually formatting the reel before you do it. So like, I remember it was 3 years ago where I used to literally get a videographer to come to the gym and just be like, that's a lat pull down, let's do a lat pull down reel. What's next? Oh, dumbbell lecture raise, tricep push down. And it's like, it'll end up being terrible because you're not planned it. And people think scripting is unnatural. And we spoke about this a little bit off camera as well. Kind of like almost every movie you watch is scripted. They know exactly what they're going to say and it comes off non-scripted. Right? There's that. So actually planning the content before you're doing it for the hook, retain, reward model. Make sure you know what you're doing. So if you can almost kind of do that with frame change, keep it entertaining, that's always work well. Something I was actually looking at that too is like, I don't watch a lot of things in terms of movies, but when my sister was watching a Netflix episode, and I was like, there's a lot of frame changes, but it's creating curiosity. So again, frame changes. Studying theatre, right? Studying theatre, see how they do it. They create some form of like storyline. They kind of almost have frame changes. There's not always the same one thing. There's some music in the background if it kind of resembles a tone. Making it entertaining to watch and actually planning it before you get there.
The planning it before you get there is the thing. I think if you fail prepared, you're prepared to fail. And that's the biggest thing I'd say. And if you're a fitness coach and you're struggling with your content, you're struggling to get leads, you're struggling to get traffic, this is one of the easiest low-hanging fruits we can help you with. If you want help with that, drop me a message on Instagram. We can just send you over some reels and even other YouTube videos that will help. We've got some really in-depth explanations of that. And to summarize this, top 3 action points for this episode.
I'd say the main thing is scripting your content. That's gonna be the biggest thing. If you don't script, you're winging it and you're not gonna, it's not gonna work. Then also use that script to create further reels. Like You might do the same script again, you might turn into a carousel. The next thing is focus on the 3 T's, topic, template, tonality, deciding that, and 3, relevancy into the marketplace. Say it as if you mean it, and also have it where you're speaking directly to the person you want to sell.
And I'll give a fourth bonus one. If you're using a teleprompter, something that we joke about, but I found is imagine I'm on a sales call. So put like extra energy into it. If you took value from the podcast, you enjoy this, make sure you share with friends, subscribe, check out the next episode that's coming up, and I'll see you soon.